us, for your comments, for your contributions. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Let's give them, let's clap for them. Thank you.
We are so good.
Yeah, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Today, yeah, what are we talking about today? Today, we have another interesting topic. We're talking about communication, bedrock of relationship. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today, and it's really going to be a great time. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back. Yes, it's afternoon vibes, and if you're just joining us, today we are talking about communication, bedrock of relationship. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people, would love this topic. Yeah. All right. So Esther, let's start by defining the terms: communication, bedrock,
Bedrock.
and relationship. So
Okay.
give us the definitions.
Communication is the successful conveying of ideas, feelings, interests
Yes.
between two or more people.
Hmm, great. All right. So bedrock
Bedrock. Bedrock.
is
The
that like the foundation?
foundation,
Sure.
fundamental principle on which something is being built. The
Hmm.
solid ground. Yes.
Yeah,
Bedrock.
beautiful. And then relationship now. So
Relationship is a state of being connected, either emotionally or physically.
great, great, great. Of course, we are used to these terms, but we just need to, define them. So let's get right into it. Communication, bedrock of relationship. So come to think of it, what is relationship without communication? What is love without communication? You agree with me that every relationship thrives on good every relationship thrives on good communication, and that is we are discussing this topic not just from the perspective of relationship between spouses, but relationship
In
in
the
public,
workplace,
workplace,
yes.
public
In the
places,
family,
family, yes, relationship among siblings, and relationship generally, yes, generally. But of course, we'll be dwelling more on relationship between spouses, couples, both intending couples and then married.
married.
So as we were saying, so a flourishing relationship, is made possible by good communication. So Esther, what do you have to say about that?
Yes, because in a relationship, you
Yes,
get to share things, you share ideas, you share interests, just to establish a common ground. So
yes,
communication is the key channel in that to be established.
yes. Okay, so let's move further. So what are the downsides in a relationship that is void of communication? Disadvantages now.
Being misunderstood, like I said earlier, that communication is a successful conveying.
Yes,
So now, if there is no communication, you can't understand each other, you can't
true.
flow, you can't even fulfill that purpose, why that relationship.
Relationship where good communication is not upheld is cold and is built on deceit. And that's just very true, because we are not communicating. Let's, say for instance, a couple in a relationship or married, you understand? Once there is gap in communication, there is, there are things that I am, holding on to. There are things in my mind which I'm not telling you.
Yes.
So definitely such a relationship is built on deceit. Yes, because we are not totally true. Such a relationship lacks trust. I know trust is very, very important in every relationship. Every relationship. When there is trust, there will be no room for unnecessary assumptions.
Yes.
There will be no room for suspense and
Yes.
unfaithfulness.
Yes.
Because I've discovered that one of the major challenges in some homes among couples now is assumptions. As a result of ineffective communication. Man as an entity is a complex being. We are complex. You understand? So the way you're looking at me now, if I could just say, okay, maybe you are, thinking something bad about me. You understand? Yeah, that's our
Yes.
mind. Our mind tells stories.
Yes.
So if you don't communicate well with your spouses, okay, honey, why did you send me this? Honey, why did you do this?
Why did you reply me that
exactly. Okay, for instance, maybe you just feel good about your spouse and then just it's because they are far from each other.
Yes.
And that's figuratively speaking now. They are together, but they are far.
Far.
So that's why every time the man has to shout and shout and shout. There's this very interesting story I heard of a couple. They used to fight almost every time. So anytime they have a misunderstanding, instead of them to talk about it, so they'll just resort to communicating by writing notes. So
Notes.
notes, exactly. So the husband will write, "I'll put the money for this for weeks."
Like business partners.
Exactly. In the same house, under the same roof.
Yes.
So this and that. The wife will say, "Don't forget the money for the this and that." Okay, I will drop it as an appointment the following day. So he wants the wife to wake him up at certain at a particular time so that he will not miss the appointment. And it was the time they were having their usual period. So he now wrote it down. Please wake me up by so time. I think the appointment was for 8 a.m. So he told the wife, wake me up by 6 a.m. So he wrote it, put it on the table. So the wife saw it. See, so she saw it. Of course, 6 a.m. Went to 6 a.m. The wife went, there, wrote, wake up, it's 6 a.m. and he put it beside the
Oh
man.
my God.
So the man woke up 8:30 a.m. and the appointment was for 8 a.m. And then, so when he now woke up, he spoke out. Yeah, yeah. He said, okay, you can talk now. Yes, what is the matter? I told you to wake me up by 6 a.m. Yes, need to check, look at it.
I thought you wake up in the notes
You
now.
know, so
Regularly.
the truth is, when there is no effective communication, it affects both parties. It affects all parties involved, and this is not just limited to
So,
couples alone.
yes.
Even in workplace among siblings, you understand. Most of the time, the elder always wants respect
They
from the
always want to
younger.
be the one talking.
Exactly. So, and sometimes the elder might not be comfortable with the way the younger one is
Yes.
relating, but you should talk about it. Hey, I don't like the way you are doing yourself. But sometimes, instead of talking about it, you begin to react as the
Yeah.
elder, begin to bully them, and so these things just cut across, at different areas of life. All right, so we're going to be proceeding to some other more interesting part of this wonderful topic today, but we'll be going on our very first musical break.
Break.
So when we come back, we'll delve deeper into this topic. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Preview. 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 Preview.
Actually, we're trying to. She's just trying to come out. Like yesterday, we tried. She are coming in, but like 2 seconds before then, of time
She
from
can do it. She can do it. Just leave her to open now, and then let her for the this next 30 minutes. Let her be talking. You will respond.
no,
to her
we have it scripted. She's doing more of talking now.
this time now.
This time, yeah.
Preview. Preview.
Are going everywhere, and see your eyes are going everywhere. Somebody may not follow the person. The only thing you're supposed to concentrate on your camera and Shiloh. On your camera and Shiloh.
Communication, relationship. You have 10 seconds to go.
Yeah. Communication, better relationship.
Everybody asks
So
this
this coming back now.
Okay, so first, coming back now.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. This is still Afternoon Vibes on RTM TV. And
Yeah.
earlier we are talking about communication as the bedrock of relationship. Here we define what communication is, what bedrock is, what relationship is. We also talk about the negative effects of ineffective communication. Now to delve deeper, we are going to be talking on how to ensure effective communication. You know, we're talking about communication not just married, in workplace, among your family, among your friends. So in your workplace, especially for those bosses out there, to ensure effective communication with your workers, information. It doesn't matter, okay, this one is just the cameraman, this one is just the scriptwriter. I just need those the CEOs, the assistants. No, you have to carry everybody along because everybody matter. The brain, the broad, they matter. And also listen. You being the boss is not just for you to give out orders. You have to listen to their feedback because most of them have more experience than you. You have to listen to them. In listening to the new ideas come, in listening to the new concepts come, in listening to them, you get new ideas for success in your organization and also handle conflicts with diplomacy. You know, we are dealing with people here, you're dealing with people that add value here. So when there's a sort of argument, be very, very careful because it can bring a gap. And once there's a gap, the work begins to crumble. Also in families,
Yeah.
the family's ineffective communication. The parents should set a family time. A family time, maybe after work, after school, we just come together, we just chat, we just that was your day, what happened today, ah, mommy, this girl this in school. Like that, you are creating a bond. Your children will be free to tell you anything. The mother and the father will be able to know their children, and there will not be that gap that is common among families. There will not be that gap that is common among siblings, and also eat meals together. Though eating is not like a communication bond, it's a sort of creating
Strengthens the
a bond.
bond.
Yes,
Yes.
it's a sort of creating a bond. And also, this is very, very important. You respect each other's viewpoints. Because my child is just 2 years old. So when we are making this thing, what she say, though she will talk childlike, but
Sure.
what she say, make her feel valued, make her feel respected. Because children are very sensitive to body language.
Yeah.
They're very sensitive to tone. They're not like adults that say, okay, oh, this person does not mean it. Like, let me go and ask. She don't know, say, mommy, why do you? They can just, okay, this is. She does not want to listen to me. Maybe
Yeah.
what I said is
Let me
stupid. I'm
interject
just
into
always
that.
talking too much. So you should always respect them.
Mm.
Yeah, and also for relationships. I know most of us we love Facebook chatting, we love WhatsApp
Mm.
chatting and all that. In relationship, one of the best way of ensuring effective communication, make more of physical communication. Yes, because physical communication, you can see the person's eye, you can see the person's gesture, you can see the person, all those hidden expressions. When you are just texting, you can be able to see it and really know what they actually mean, and also be interested in them, interested in the aspect of their lives, spiritual lives, emotional lives. Sometimes your partner will just post a picture, you repost the picture, though you are not exchanging words verbally, but you are still conveying that interest in each other, and that is communication. Yeah.
All right. So, and we also want you, our viewers, to know that you can be part of this discussion. The WhatsApp number, you can send your contributions or comments or questions to 07064246933. Let me call that again, 070. Please let's know what you think. Feel free to send your questions as you have always been doing. So, Esther, you've really spoken well, and so let me ask. Okay, in a romantic relationship now, that's a relationship between spouses now. When should you speak and when should you be silent? Yeah,
When should you speak and when should you be silent?
it sounds paradoxical, like
Yes,
silence.
it
We're
does.
talking about communication, silence.
Yes. Actually, you should always speak when there are problems to solve. You can't just keep quiet. Like you said in the first session, that there will be pressing issues, and because they are not communicating, to just be there in that aspect, you have to speak. Yeah.
True, and of course, silence I believe is also a communication. Yeah, yeah. When you are silent, it's communication, and and I say when should you be silent? For instance, maybe your spouse, probably the man now is temperamental, someone who is always very aggressive,
Okay.
and men have ego, so they want to be in charge. So
Yes.
at the time when he's ranting, raving, and all of
Yeah.
that, so of course for you as the lady or as the wife, that is not the time to start speaking back. And women are good with words, and she's good.
Yeah.
So but I think that those are times when you should be silent, and sometimes it could be vice versa. You understand? So I believe if both parties truly love each other, there should be times where I just deliberately decide to be silent. To okay, let me just that silence is a message. Of course, you can come back to talk about that issue, but as of that time, we can't have two drivers or two buses at the same time. So
Yes.
when the man is hot, the woman should be cold.
You should
And
not say that because we said successful conveying of interest. So when your partner is in a very angry mood, yes, you want to convey how you feel, but silence is always the best answer for that period because my share.
the spouse is not a good communicator, what do you think should be done? He's not a good
Okay.
communicator. You're trying
Okay.
to communicate. Okay, let's talk about everything, but your spouse is not a good communicator. How do you? What do you think should be done there?
The thing about people that don't really talk is that they are more non-verbal, like in expressions, like
Yeah,
between with family members. Let's say my mom I'm not the kind of person that will go and miss my mom and mommy after. My expression will surely show. So you have to pay attention.
True.
Yeah, so
You
that
need to understand
you
the way
can
they.
be able
True.
to, and also you have to communicate more. Like we are trying to bring them, because being in a relationship with someone that does not really talk can be very,
Yeah, it can be
can,
challenging and
yes.
exactly.
So you make sure you also like you talk to them more. It can bring them out of that shell.
All right, good. We got some questions here already. Yeah, what if my neighbor is a sinner? Should I still effectively communicate with him or her?
Sinner.
What if my neighbor is a sinner? Should I still effectively communicate with him or her? All right, I believe, of course, there's no way you pass the gospel across or you share the good news without communication. We remember that Jesus was seen eating with sinners,
Sinners.
and they were wondering, wow, how could this man that claims he came from God be eating with sinners? They were very religious, and you
Yeah.
understand. So I believe you must still find a way to communicate. But of course, communication does not mean equally yoking.
Yes.
You understand? So they
Because the
must know
Bible
what
says
you
that we should not be.
equally unequally yoked. Exactly. So you should still communicate, of course, with wisdom. I think it was Apostle Paul that was saying, I became many things, to different people
Oh.
so that you could win them. So which means when it's amongst the doubts, hey, close your eye, I know what's happening there. Let's see, like that.
Yes.
And then he speaks their language, so just to be able to win them. So I believe communication is one of the skills that every child of God should even develop to be able to communicate the gospel effectively. So yeah, and we got another question here. Say, what if my job is more demanding than my relationship with my spouse? Should I compromise my work just because I want to maintain effective communication? Okay, what if my job is more demanding?
No, your job is more. See, communication is not all about when you call the person and speak, or maybe when I get to speak. There are several ways for you to involve your spouse. You can take a picture of what you're actually doing at that moment. Then go, we have
Yeah,
the internet. You send it. You can do a video during your break, or you can done. It's a way of engaging them for you to just say, okay, when I just get home at 5 p.m. I'll be able to. Then when she complains, I'm like, don't you know I was busy and all that?
yeah,
No, make that chance of the internet we have, especially take
yeah,
pictures, send videos, just to engage your
yeah.
partner.
Involve
Yes,
him in your day-to-day
yes.
activities. You
You
understand?
don't have to stop your job because you want to talk to your partner. No, but you can involve your
And
partner.
that's why it's also
Yes,
very important that spouses are compatible. Because
yes.
if your spouse is involved in something you don't even have flair for,
Mm-hmm.
you understand? So how would you not really be interested? Even say,
Yeah.
"Honey, see what we're doing." I say, okay, okay. You understand? So you
Yeah.
should consciously be interested in what your
Yes.
spouse is. You just get involved in each other bonding, you are still communicating.
Yeah.
I think that's where many people miss it actually. So they just go there, each person goes their
Yeah,
different
when we come back
ways. When we
6
come back,
p.m., we
6
talk,
p.m.
and there's not
exactly.
even time to even
There's no
talk
that time
again.
exactly. So try to find a way to involve your spouse in your day-to-day
Yes.
activities, and it goes a long way. And thank God
And
for internet.
additionally, it may sound like this, but you can also exchange each other to-do list, so your partner can know when you are busy and
Yeah,
when
that's
you are not
another
busy. You
big
can
important
exchange your
thing
to-do
too.
list. Yeah.
All right, yeah. More questions here. In the process of trying to be an effective communicator, in the process of one trying to be an effective communicator, would it lead to one being a talkative?
When we say effective, you're talking when you should talk.
Thank you very much. That's just the simple
You're talking when you should talk.
answer. There's time for everything. There's
Yes.
time for everything. So, of course, we were saying earlier now, there's a time to speak, there's a time to
To
be,
be silent.
silent. So, you should know when to talk. Even the Bible says a word fitly spoken in season is,
You know.
exactly. So, just keep the questions coming. Let me quickly take this one also. It said, what if my spouse is an introvert and doesn't like talking too much? How can I maintain effective communication with that person? Okay, we said that
Yes,
earlier.
be interested in them. The thing about extrovert and introvert, no, extrovert they like going out, they like, so their mode of communication will be more wider. The
True.
introverts also have theirs, because I believe someone that is an introvert cannot just sit down at home and just an introvert. That's will be doing things at home. So
Yes.
you can study your partner if you really value your relationship, because you have to study your partner, the things that get his attention, the way you can communicate. And like I said, it's not always words every time. It's not always words. You have to study your spouse and adapt that mode of communication.
Yeah, so in a situation where some of my family members doesn't like me, how can I communicate effectively with them? I think this is common in homes. So in a situation whereby, you know, one of the members of family believes everybody is always speaking of, like one of my siblings, one of my, our siblings, she was always feeling that way when we were growing up, that everybody picks on me, I'm the one that doesn't do it well, and so okay, we'll be answering that. We'll be talking about that when we come back from the musical break. So we're playing Pioneer for King, and okay, Pioneer by for King
Queen.
and for country actually.
Country.
Yeah, I love the music. It's a video you're going to really love.
King
I
and
love,
Queen sounds compatible. So I
Yeah.
like King and Queen.
yeah. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the musical break.
The drag. Before Esther talking to 10 minutes before I see her face.
If you have not that we won't tell that you have good difference.
Okay, more low.
Because we don't know that the
When you see, I have the liberty to quickly.
internet wise. That was just the okay. That's when you watch
The person who tell us, I wish she was observing all of this. Mama, but she was there, she just coming up. You understand?
yeah, but it doesn't do anything. You only watch online. Someone should be
Exactly. So there,
how is this
Because the site is not.
Alright, so and then you are there line side by side, out of
that's how I
What
stay.
song about sorry?
Okay, and then you
But
are
when you are coming back, always
I don't
be
know.
late with
I
the
want to say
music.
what happened for
They are expecting you to come back with that.
with
It's fine.
by China. I don't know if we are taking that thing down. There was one interview with you. That one we had when
just
we
in
finished
case of
when it was
So they are coming back, I come back with whatever
then we now went
that
back inside. Every TV was discussing or listening to me. And said, ever watched it yet? Oh, that's as
Let's
it
be
played.
pioneers. We do that.
Is it
It's
the-
about
is
the
it the last one?
actually. You understand? The bridge of communication was for a while, so they were trying to come
2
together.
minutes, 2 minutes to come back.
So open the doors. You know my mouth is yours. What are we waiting for? Let's be pioneers.
How many questions do you have more?
I have no question. In the great unknown.
Okay.
In the great unknown.
Apart from one
Let's be
question, which
pioneers.
one?
There's a song that we sang on our honeymoon. I remember all the words. FM, the title and the artist well again, please. You wrote for king and for country.
Looking back on what you know.
So open the doors.
Like
You know my
saying
heart
I'm
is
doing
here.
this for kids and for country.
Let's be pioneers. We do that home. Yeah. So this time around, you see, we're coming up. We answer the question. What to do with my spouse is not only for me.
That's what you asked.
To share in case of the idea of my siblings. How can we communicate?
When I look the producer, What are they looking for?
Preview. Preview.
25 seconds.
Preview.
Let's be partners. Let's work together.
Okay, 5 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm sure you love that music. Yeah, that's pioneered by For King and Country. I really love the storyline. You understand? You know, the words were so deep. You know, if you follow the story very well, you see that the couple were, you know, they were bonding before, but something came in along the line, and then there was gap. So they were trying to come together. How did we get to this point? I love you love me. And there was even one of the lines that I love. He said, there was a song we used to sing then, but I've forgotten the tune. So why are we out of tune? That's so touching, man. And that's perhaps there's anyone out there in your relationship, you notice that you're already, having that gap, with your spouse. You could even be married. You are still the one that will do the magic, just like you just watched it exactly in the video. So they actually came together. Let's talk about it. So that gap continued until they both decided to talk about it, and then that in the process of talking about what went wrong, how they went apart, and the bonds that was coming back, and then you could see what they ended the video. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your comments and contributions. So I was saying before we went on musical break, one of the questions that came in, let me read again. In a situation whereby some of my family members do not like me, how can I communicate effectively with them? So I was talking about one of my siblings, when we were growing up. She always believed that everybody picks on her, and that's just the truth. It happens, it just appears like that, truly, that when some other people, exactly, consciously or unconsciously, everybody was just on her, you understand? And oh, you're not doing well, do it this way, so many a time she will cry, you understand? Why is it only me? And all of so in that situation, how do you still communicate effectively and then not hold grudge against them and begin to develop hatred in that situation?
I think the person should start by telling them the things, because like you said, consciously or unconsciously.
Yes.
Those doing unconsciously, they don't know that they are actually hurting her. So she goes and explain, because the more she keeps keeping, she isolates, and that's also one of the disadvantages. She isolate herself from the family, which is going to be very bad and create.
Talking about then, we were much younger, so we believed we were trying to help her, because she is not this fast. She's like a slow learner. She doesn't grab things easily, but once she grabs it, she has known it. So it was later in life that we understood her, that, okay, this is how she is. So we started becoming more patient with her, just because many times she just cry, and why is it only me? And so we started enjoying the bond and relationship,
And to
again
add to
together.
what you said, I remember there was a time me and my sister also quarreled, and my sister is the kind of person that when she's angry, she does not hide it.
Mm.
So if me, I'm the kind of when I quarrel with her, I want to make amendments that instant. I went to meet her, she just reply you. So I discovered something about her. So when she's angry, I do something for her, like carry her bag or I arrange a cupboard. Then it will not influence her speaking to me. That is non-verbal communication
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So, so let's quickly talk about benefits of effective communication now. What are the benefits? We've been talking about, communication as bedrock of relations. So what are the benefits? Let's, of course, in different areas now, let's pick the family. So, of course, it builds trust. It strengthens the bond.
Yes.
You understand? I love the points you gave the other time, how we can actually achieve, effective communication. So, and in the workplace, it also makes the work go easily, more
Yes.
easily. There's a free flow of the work just flows like that. You understand? Because if we are, they say one tree cannot make a forest.
Yes.
So if I'm having something against you, definitely we can't work together. We can't, you understand? And then the work will not move as it ought to move. So there's mutual trust. There's unity. It fosters teamwork. Once there's effective communication, than when you're just on your own.
Engagement, yeah.
Yes. So what other
Also,
things?
I believe that in the workplace,
Yeah.
effective communication brings about more, because when they say this one, okay, to be good for the company, but if you go and meet this man now, you don't even like you. So effective communication will create opportunities.
True. True.
And you know that as a boss, when you are talking to your staff, it cannot just only be on the company issues. You can delve into personal stuff. So you can get different ideas from different places, and it can be a huge booster to the organization.
Yeah, I'm talking about effective communication. Create good opportunities. That's very key because there are sometimes the way God has designed us to function is that we help one another. You
Yes.
understand? We love one another. And so sometimes what A needs, that what A has that B needs. If there's no effective communication or there's gap, they wouldn't know. So and
Yes.
he'll be looking for what he needs everywhere, and then it's just right beside him. So we need to consciously begin to develop our good communication skills. Not just with our spouses now, even our workplace, with our siblings. There's nothing like I'm not a good. You have to learn it. You have
Yes.
to learn it because we must talk. We're not animals. Even animals have a way of communicating.
Yes,
If a dog wants to play with another dog, now it has a way of
They bark, they
you understand?
they do-
And so have you observed something about dogs? When they are playing, they will actually open their teeth but you notice that they will not enjoy each other. Their
Yes.
teeth is out, you understand? They're playing with, that's communication. So if animals know how to and when they want to mate they know how to also communicate.
Communicate.
So it's very important that we, learn and cultivate the habit of communicating well. It makes our world more beautiful.
Yes.
You understand? Because it eliminates all forms of assumptions. It
Yes.
eliminates all forms of suspense. You are not suspecting you. I'm not. You understand? And there's no deceit. You understand? So, but it's just that in this part of the world, many a time, some people believe that when you are too open to people, that is when you are, just like the Bible says, we live in a wicked world. They believe people can take it for granted. You understand? So that's another angle to it.
Yeah.
And so of course, there's a place of wisdom. It's not everything you talk about because some people, like somebody asked earlier, in the process of trying to maintain good communication, they begin to say some things they are not supposed to say in your communication. You understand? You know what to say and what not to say. For instance, a dream that you just had or your goal or something you're trying to build, in the secret is not that's not the time for you to
I
actually
think it depends on the type of relationship. Because your
Beautiful.
spouse now, that is, you can be able to share those
Of
kind of
course.
things. Yes.
Of course. And there's this, will I call it a superstition? Or some people believe that if I want to achieve something now, once I tell somebody
It's not
about
going
it,
to
I'm not going to
work.
achieve it. What do you think about
It's
it?
superstitious, of course.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Like I've seen a lot of people that they say, when I talk about something, maybe I want to achieve something, I talk about it, I won't achieve that thing again. Like I've seen many people like that.
There was something that used to happen to me when I was in school. Then I'm very good in writing stories. So when somebody just read the first chapter, I'm not more interested in writing the second. If you want to hear the second, you have to come
Hmm.
to me. So I think it's like a psychological stuff because I've seen people also confirm that same thing happens to them, but I don't think it's any power or any. That's why I say it's superstitious.
And I also
Yes.
think it boils down to maybe the mindset or so. Maybe I
Yes.
just believe once I say it out, I won't achieve it, and then so it will be. All right. So, Esther, does God want us to communicate effectively with Him?
Of course.
Hmm.
Of course. He said, if you believe in me, Jesus said something about me and the Father will come and abide with the person, like, and our body is temple. So like now as we are now, God is in us. He wants to be all rounder. He wants to be the center of everything. Yes, God
True.
wants us to communicate effectively.
Okay. This question just came in now. Let me quickly read. So, what if the person you are trying to communicate with doesn't listen to you? Yeah, that's another angle to it. What if the person does not listen to you? You're trying to communicate, and so
Person
should
does
you
not
force your opinion on him? Like, or
No. Even the Bible says that when your brother offends you and go and meet him, he does not listen. Know how the person does not listen to you. Person surely listen to somebody. Either the parents or either for relationship now, either the parents in a one higher boss. Yes, you take it to a
That's true.
third party
That's
because you
true.
can't impose. The person is not going to listen, and the person is going to respond in a defensive manner.
True, 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 true. And just to also add to this, I wanted to include it the other time when we're talking about, this, talking about fostering effective communication in relationship generally, both in homes, amongst family members, words like we used to learn the, is it three or five?
Yeah, five magic words and I know. Please excuse me, sorry, thank you. And the last one, pardon.
Yeah, I actually know, please, excuse, please, I'm sorry, thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
Those, as simple as it sounds, is
Yeah.
missing and it's causing a lot of issues in many relationships.
Mhm.
Like, I'm sorry. Some people, have you seen people that will tell you they cannot say I'm sorry? Like,
Yeah.
I've seen people who say,
I
I'm sorry, I cannot say I'm sorry. Like, I can't say I'm sorry.
Yep. Those kind of people, they feel they're always right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and which
they're
I
always
think
right.
is bad. And thank you. You know the way you feel when you
Mhm.
give something to someone or you offer an assistance and the person tells
Thank
you
you.
thank you. It feels good.
Yes.
So these little things also helps to build good relationship. So uh, just keep it coming. Thank you very much. All right, we're talking about, does God want us to communicate effectively? So how do we communicate effectively with God?
Prayer. Prayer is the key communication with
Just
God. Yes.
prayer.
Not just prayer. I was using prayer as the opener. So prayer is one of the ways we can communicate with God. It's ways we can fellowship. Because fellowshipping with God is not only where you praise and you worship, you are actually communicating all your mind, all your heart is on Him. And in our day-to-day activities, so when you pause, there's something I read in Psalm when you say, blessed are those who give thanks at the remembrance of His holy name. That place occurred to me that when you just remember God's name all of a sudden, that means it has been in your thoughts,
Thoughts.
and yes, just the way our spouse, so we think of them during the day, you are so
Yeah.
focused on your work. So the same thing with God, that's communicating with Him.
So I think it must be continuous. It must be,
Yes.
it must be in your thoughts, of course.
Yes.
Like the Bible says that where your heart is where your,
Treasure.
exactly, or where your treasure is, where your heart, which one? Where your heart is, where your treasure is. So if you're thinking about God, definitely you want to communicate with Him. And communication might not really be when you kneel down and start shouting, Father. It might just be little, oh, thank you, Lord, for that. Thank
Yes.
you for this, Lord, I'm grateful for this. Oh, Lord, have your way in this, just every day, every moment like that. And it gets us closer to the
Yes.
Father, because most of the times we get so engrossed with
In
life,
our
activities, and we
yes.
just, it's in the night. You
You
might not even
have
remember to pray. So when you were
yes.
about to sleep, you say, oh, I did not pray. Father, thank you. And then you have slept also. The way to strengthen the bond of communication between you and God is just let the communication,
Be
let it be continuous. Let
yes.
it happen, like all through your day, like
And
before we
He does
started.
not want you to talk to Him only when you want something.
Exactly,
That is
exactly.
not
He wants
established.
relationship.
Yes. Yes.
He wants relationship. So this covers every aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course, I believe we've really said a lot on this topic, communication being the bedrock of relationship, and we've touched on different aspects of life in the family, workplace, and even in public places. Somebody wants to,
Listen.
you understand?
Yeah.
So, and so it just cuts across every aspect. So let's consciously develop the habit to communicate. We'll talk about it, anything, instead of stomaching and then breathing assumptions and all kinds. Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us on this episode. It's been a wonderful time having this discussion. Thank you for your contributions. Just keep it coming as usual. We'll continue the conversation on our social media platform. You can keep sending it to that WhatsApp line. We'll respond and then we'll continue the discussion. Thank you very much for your time. It's afternoon vibes, and by the grace of God, if the Lord tarries, we'll be here again, same time, same station, tomorrow for another interesting topic. My name is Shayo John Adebayo.
Esther Odomi.
So keep basking in the love of God. We love you. God bless you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. This master camera, they don't send that camera. They don't send this camera.
Just put them on the side.
But sometimes, if the both of them, if you see, they look together, sometimes they can. They also do, because at the end of the day, there's an action. Because the both of them, it's not just exactly. Because she gets her own, you only focus on the one that is focused on her. The main one that the both of them can actually be seen. See, both of them are not even looking at the camera, sir. They are looking at themselves. No, it's getting better. It's getting better. But then,
Đúng rồi, rồi bác thì cũng gặp, nó bác còn